Last month, the judge issued a temporary restraining order blocking her from making those appointments without approval from trustees.
Well, there is more high drama in the village of Dalton tonight, where embattled Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
There is political unrest all around Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Henyard, the mayor of Dalton, Illinois, and the supervisor of Thornton Township, has been politically outwitted. When she was surprisingly left off the Democratic ballot for township supervisor, she suffered a serious setback. Together with growing scandals and public outrage, Henyard is today on the brink of political collapse. But this is more than a botched election. A politician who has wasted public dollars on her lifestyle and is now seeing the collapse of her political empire is disintegrating. Is this the beginning of the end for Tiffany Henyard? Let's look into it.
There are perception issues with it that are right to get attention. Will the court look at those perception issues? Probably not. But
as the stakes rise, picture a packed auditorium in Homewood, Illinois, buzzing with tension. The first Democratic caucus in decades is being organized in Thornton Township by State Senator Napoleon Harris. As Harris arrived, fans poured into the stadium, securing their seats and setting the stage for an instant and decisive victory. Supporters of Henyard, many of whom were apparently using township resources, were left waiting outside in the bitter cold. As usual, Henyard's team arrived late, but because the venue could only accommodate 600 people, the doors were closing at that moment. This was not only a logistical disaster, it was a political spectacle in the making.
Tonight involving a controversial politician in the south suburbs. Tiffany Henyard was the only Thornton Township leader to show up for his.
Just 7 minutes after the caucus began, Harris and his slate secured the Democratic nomination for the April election. 7 minutes. That put an end to Henyard's hopes of winning re-election as township supervisor. The crowd exploded in cheers as Harris's name was announced. But Henyard was visibly enraged and charged Harris with planning an illegal party. "You didn't run any of this the right way," she continued, her voice shaking with anger. But it was more than rage. It was a dire situation. Henyard understood that her loss would mean she would not be on the Democratic ticket. All she had to do was submit a write-in application. A tiny probability, at best.
A new legal battle brewing in Dalton between the mayor and some village trustees.
As Regina Waldrop explains, it has a lot to do with 2 meetings held earlier.
Henyard didn't make a strong case for the caucus method. Harris and his colleagues had followed the rules, regardless of Henyard's protests. Henyard's team failed to meet the requirements for a full slate, which includes a competent assessor. This is the process that has been in place for decades. It's legal, it's democratic, and it was executed properly, Harris's attorney, Burton Odelson, said. Henyard's claims of unfair practices and vote suppression were regarded with mistrust because of her prior history of legal abuse. But this is more than just a caucus. Henyard has been embroiled in scandal for a long time, with accusations ranging from bad management and corruption to wasteful government spending. It has not been an easy period for her in office. Residents of Dalton and Thornton Township are becoming more frustrated with her leadership, or lack thereof. One resident summed it up well. "She has just brought disgrace on our neighborhood. It's time for her to go, and she may, but not without a fight."
Clown! We will continue to speak out against wrongdoing. Why won't you step?
Henyard's response to her death was emotional as usual. As the crowd screamed, "Nah, nah, nah, hey, kiss him, goodbye," she and a few allies fled from the auditorium. The irony was obvious. Henyard, who has often been accused of shouting over others in meetings and ignoring opposing opinions, was now being drowned out by her own people. "Karma, injustice in action," jokingly said one witness, and they were not wrong. For years, Henyard had ruled with an air of superiority, bolstering her power with her dual roles as mayor and supervisor. But it seems that her reign is now over. The public hates Henyard for many reasons than just her political antics. It has to do with the observable impacts of her leadership on the neighborhood. Thornton Township's serious financial problems are mostly the result of Henyard's leadership. Investigations into her spending habits revealed alarming details, including tens of thousands of dollars spent on first-class travel, luxury hotels, exquisite dining, and the infamous $30,000 Amazon purchase in a single day. It seems reasonable that the residents are furious.
she leased to Mayor Tiffany Henyard has filed eviction papers. She says Henyard has not paid her rent, and now
Henyard's spending habits have drawn a lot of attention, but there has also been discussion about her managerial style. Critics describe her frequent suppression of dissenting opinions at public events as aggressive and disrespectful. A former official described her activities as bullying since they give the impression that she views everyone who disagrees with her as an enemy. Her tough tactics have alienated not just her staff but also a lot of voters, leaving a growing number of locals feeling disenfranchised and disconnected from their local government. Even worse, Henyard's administration has been marred for years by her legal troubles. The FBI's investigation into her financial activities now includes close pals who are allegedly engaging in fraudulent operations on her behalf. One particularly shocking incident involving a prominent Henyard Alley police officer who was recently jailed for bankruptcy fraud stoked calls for accountability even more, since there is now widespread corruption in addition to bad leadership. The people of Thornton Township are clearly fed up with this. But the controversy doesn't stop there. Henyard's cancer charity, the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation, has come under fire for failing to disclose its financial operations. The Illinois Attorney General's office has even instructed the group to stop taking donations until it complies with state regulations. Her use of municipal buses to transport supporters to the caucus has sparked even more outrage. This is simply another example of Henyard utilizing public monies for private gain, according to critics. A reader said, Tiffany and her thugs still need to be charged and prosecuted for government corruption even after she is fired. They are not alone in feeling that way either. Justice demands are just becoming louder. As the walls draw in on Henyard, her future seems more bleak. The FBI is reportedly investigating her administration, and legal experts warn that she might face harsh consequences if found guilty of any wrongdoing. One analyst said, this is not only a political issue. This relates to accountability. She will have to face the consequences, which might be severe if she has broken the law. Numerous investigations that are still underway and a long list of lawsuits that are piling up have put Henyard on the brink of a legal and political disaster. Despite all of this, Henyard remains stubborn. At a contentious press conference after the caucus, she pledged to continue fighting. The show will continue, she murmured, but it sounded hollow. As a write-in candidate, she is unlikely to win, and many believe her tenure in office is coming to an end. Even her staunchest supporters are beginning to question her. Although even an ally, Keith Price, was uncertain, he optimistically said that enough people were familiar with Henyard's name to include it on the ballot. As they prepare for the April election, Harris and his team are focusing on issues that are significant to the community. Harris, a former NFL player and affluent businessman, has promised to increase Thornton Township's transparency and accountability. His caucus victory proved that the people were open to change. What Henyard will do next is unknown. Will she escalate her court battles, devoting time and money to matters that will never be settled? Or will she finally step aside and allow the community to heal? Either way, one thing is clear. Tiffany Henyard's political career may never fully bounce back from its present situation. The public's reaction to Henyard's passing has been overwhelmingly negative. Many social media commenters, both locals and political professionals, saw her defeat as a long overdue reckoning. Tiffany often yells over other people in meetings. Now, she is the target of the screaming. Justice and karma in action, observed one commenter. In addition to the joy, there is frustration. Many residents think that Henyard has caused irreparable harm to the municipality and that it will take years to fix the damage she has caused. According to one taxpayer, we're going to be cleaning up her mess for a long time. But at least we have a chance to go forward today. What is ahead for Thornton Township? Will Harris keep his word and restore public confidence in local government? But what about Henyard? Will she be able to recover from her acts, or will they have legal ramifications? Even while the answers are still unclear, one thing is certain, this story is far from over. What do you think? Will Harris be the necessary leader for Thornton Township, or is this just another chapter in the township's political history? Are you in favor of giving Henyard another chance or ending her suffering permanently? We value your time and look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you for watching. So what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you don't want to miss out on the hottest celebrity news,